As the voice of the cattle industry in Washington, the National Cattlemen's Beef Association is making a difference for cattle producers every day. The staff in D.C. work on a number of policy and regulatory issues that could impact the U.S. beef industry. We've got an update on what's happening in Washington in this week's Beltway Beef Spotlight.
Well, like many of you, things are certainly heating up here in Washington, D.C. Your D.C. Public Policy Center is talking about all things from taxes to infrastructure to healthcare, all of the things that affect you on your daily operations. But one of the things that permeates all of these conversations, both with agencies and with Congress, is this concept of climate. At the center of all conversation, whatever question you're going to ask, the agencies in Congress are now asking, what does this mean for the climate? What does this mean for our landscapes and our watersheds and the animals and communities that inhabit those areas? At the center of the climate conversation are a couple different buzzwords: sustainability, stewardship, carbon and carbon markets and carbon pricing. In all of these conversations, our primary goal is to make sure that both Congress and the agencies know that grazing and cattle producers are at the forefront of this conversation. This is not a conversation where we're keeping up. This is a conversation where you, because of your practices, because of your long-held commitment to healthy grasslands, to healthy pastures, to making sure that there's adequate and very healthy wildlife habitat, and protection of all of these different watersheds and landscapes. Because of your work there, this is an easy conversation for us to have. We demonstrate on a daily basis that cattle producers are this country's leading steward of the environment. And not only are you this country's leading steward of the environment, you're also the global leader in sustainable beef production. But when we're talking about sustainability, we have a variety of different attributes that we look at, whether it's talking about prevention of invasive species, or this concept of water quality and quantity, or this concept of resiliency of the landscapes. Now, as a former Western resident myself, I can't think of landscape resiliency without thinking of the concept of catastrophic wildfire. As we head into the spring and summer months, we know that catastrophic wildfire season is upon us, unfortunately. And this is coast to coast. We have seen recently declarations in Wisconsin and in the West of high drought conditions and high fire danger for the coming months. Coincidentally, May is also Wildfire Preparedness Month. So whether we're talking about climate or we're talking about how to make these landscapes more resilient, more prepared, and more ready for these fire conditions, we're talking about the good contributions of cattle producers, of grazing regimes, and how to make sure that those are recognized and protected at the federal level. As we continue these conversations about the profitability of your business, about the sustainability of your family's ability to continue beef production, we will keep you updated. From Washington State to here in Washington, D.C., we appreciate the good work that you do because it makes your story an easy one to tell.